Hey guys, Prince of Mastodon here, and I just got a sneak peek of the Crimson Peak. Yeah, I got this sneak preview ticket for tonight, which was Tuesday, October 13, 2015. The movie does not come out until October 16. So I got to watch this movie a few days before it actually comes out. Now, let me just say really quickly, before you continue with this review, I did not like this movie at all. I feel like this movie was really weak, really boring, really slow, and I feel like this movie did not need to be made. It was very unimaginative. I would say movies of this pretty ambiguous genre have been made already, and they've done it better than this particular movie. So, I'll talk about some of the good things and a lot of the bad things, but first let me talk about some of the quick details about this movie. First off, this movie was directed by Guillermo Del Toro. He directed movies like Pacific Rim, which I hated, and he also directed Pan's Labyrinth, which I loved. I really loved that movie. That was an imaginative movie. So I was very surprised when I saw this movie, because this movie was not imaginative in the least. Very predictable. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, and the cast. It's a very strong cast, actually. You have Tom Hiddleston, who played Loki in the Thor and Avenger movies. Jessica Chastain, who was in the recent movie called The Martian, which is probably my favorite movie of the year so far. Mia Wasikowska, I don't think I've seen her in a movie, but she was pretty good. And Charlie Hunnam, pretty good actor too. Strong cast, but I think because of the movie that they were in, they didn't look that great in this movie, to be honest. I mean, Jessica Chastain was probably my favorite actress in this movie. But because of the restraints being in this pretty mediocre movie, I don't think any of them are going to shine in this movie, to say the least. Now, when I watch this movie, like when I watch the trailer for this movie, I was expecting it to be, you know, a horror movie, or at least a movie that felt like it belonged in October, which is the Halloween season. If you want to see a movie that makes you feel like it's Halloween, go watch Hotel Transylvania 2. Or if you just want a better horror movie, then go watch The Visit, which was M. Night Shyamalan's grandmother movie. But if you want a horror movie or a Halloween movie, this is not the movie to watch. This movie felt really underwhelming. As I said, it just did not need to be made. I don't know why they made this movie. So let me talk about the plot really quickly, and I can't really go into detail because the whole point of this movie is unraveling the plot and slowly learning what's up. That's the whole point of this movie, and if I tell you what it is, then you're not going to want to watch this movie. I mean, I'm not recommending this movie by any stretch of the means. I hated this movie. So, really briefly in a nutshell, this movie is about this young lady who writes fiction. The editor who was reading her story called it a ghost story, but she makes it clear that it's not a ghost story. It's just a story with ghosts in it, and that's what I felt about this movie. It was not a ghost movie at all. It was just a movie that happened to have ghosts in it, but they're not central to this movie. But yeah, so this girl, she writes fiction. Her dad dies in this movie, so she ends up marrying this guy, Tom Hiddleston's character. She moves to England. She lives in this really wretched mansion or some kind of estate, and that's basically the story-ish of this movie. I can't go into any more detail because that would ruin the whole plot and the whole point of this movie. So let's not ruin that for you. So some of the good things about this movie, definitely the acting was good, was very good actually. Tom Hiddleston is always a delight to watch. Jessica Chastain, as I said, was my favorite actress in this movie. I think she put the best performance considering her role. It was pretty over the top, and I think she performed it really well. And then Mia Wasikowska, she did a really great job being really innocent. And then Charlie Hunnam did a did a pretty good job considering his character that isn't seen as much as these other three characters. So yeah, the acting was good. The directing, unfortunately, was pretty awful. Sorry, I do like Guillermo Del Toro's directing in Pan's Labyrinth, but in this movie it sucked. And I would say the best part of this movie was the set. Like, when they finally moved to England into this castle, that castle is very nice to look at. They had this really awesome castle, which they could have made a really awesome haunted house movie out of it, but they didn't. But that's basically what sold me on this movie, was watching the trailer and seeing this awesome looking, mansion type estate. That was this whole selling point for me. Like, it really had this creepy atmosphere. But I think that the story that it was trapped in ruined it. Basically. So, the sets were awesome, the acting was awesome, but everything else about this movie was awful. Let me talk about the ghosts in this movie. As I said, the ghosts aren't really the point of this movie. Like, they just happen to be in the movie, but they're not really the central point of this movie. It's not a scary movie, to be honest. I mean, there's some, like, scary boo moments, but that's really not the point of this movie. Yeah, the special effects for, I would say that the first ghost that they showed in the movie was alright, but the remaining ghosts that they show were awful. The CGI looked really cheap. It looked like a TV production. Unfortunately, when I watch a movie in the theaters, I'm expecting a better looking special effects production budget, whatever. It just looked really cheap to me, and it looked awful. Like, I really don't care about special effects as long as the story's good. Unfortunately, the story was bad, so I noticed how bad the special effects were in this movie. They looked really bad. I can't praise the special effects at all. They looked awful. At least for the ghost, anyways. What else dragged this movie? I guess the biggest drag of this movie was the pacing. It was really slow. Very slow paced. Very, very boring. I don't like using that term. It's very unsophisticated. But in this movie, it just fit. It was a boring movie. It was boring. It was predictable. It was slow. Unimaginative. I really felt underwhelmed by this movie. I felt like everything about it was weak. I really left the theater not knowing why they made this movie. So, in conclusion, I can't really see a good reason to recommend this movie. If you want to watch a Halloween movie, watch Hotel Transylvania 2. If you want to watch a good horror movie, go watch The Visit. There's really no reason to watch this movie. Sorry. I know a lot of you are Tom Hiddleston fans. If you're really a diehard fan, watch it for him. I just think the movie that he's in is not a very good one, and I don't think his performance really breaks out in this limited movie. It's a bad movie. Yeah, I am thankful that I got to watch a movie. I do like watching movies, but I watched this movie for free, and I'm warning you guys now, it's not what you think based on the trailer. I was very disappointed in this movie. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.